Hello everyone. I was in another class, so probably you see the section H before me. There's some other question I asked, so that's a little bit late. But now we have how many people? We have 48. So let's wait a little bit, 3 more minutes before everyone join, because I guess internet access is always an issue. So if any internet issues, then let me know. So just wait a little bit more before we start. But let's share the screen. So just wait a little bit because I guess still we have 10 more people have not joined yet. So let's do a little bit more. In the meantime, feel free to, if you want to unmute and talk to your classmates, feel free to do it. So can you see my screen and hear me? If so, then reply yes to make sure everyone is good. Okay. I guess we will wait 1 more minute because we cannot wait too long, but there are always some issue about internet, so just wait a little bit. So what is the plan today? We are going to go for the syllabus, and then we'll try to do some ice breaking, and then we'll try to go over some of the first part of the lecture. Okay, I guess we should start. We cannot wait too long because of the time constraint. We need to cover quite a few things in the first class. So welcome to class. I guess this is our first class. So we are going to meet 26 or 25 times more during the semester. Okay, so this is section A, I guess, right? It's an A. Something about this class, right? This is what we call the statistical analysis for business decision. So as we see this is statistics, right? And we have some business decision, okay? So we'll apply introductory statistics to the application. So that is the main idea of this class. So you see we are trying to revolt everything again against this goal, okay? So anything about me, so Chewy Cole, so just make sure my surname is Cole because depends on where you write. Some people call me Chew, that doesn't really matter, but just make sure that you don't confuse. I'm in my office now, is in the big school, 9th floor. I don't recommend you come to talk to me at the moment physically, but however, you're welcome to make a Zoom appointment with me. If you come, then you will have the mask, everything on. But I think if you allow that to, I mean, we can meet physically. Meeting physically is more fun, but now I think it's better to isolate ourselves for the moment. So there's my website. You can meet me by appointment. Something about myself. So if you probably some of you might know, actually I graduated 18 years ago. Oh no, sorry, not 18, 15 years ago at CHKB school. So 18 years ago, I was like you, taking exactly the same class. It's okay. It's not the most enjoyable class in the B school, but it's still okay. And the first year I did this class is when I was doing, I was a IFAA major. And probably some of you know, right? IFAA is actual science, right? And then statistics is the basic thing. So it's very important for me. But the first class in statistics tend to be boring. I mean, there's no way you can avoid it. I try to make it more interesting as much as possible, but how interesting I can make, I don't know, but you can try to help me. We can make it together, right? It's a joint production, as people say, education, right? We need the input of you and me, in particular we're using the Zoom teaching, is I can't see you, and usually people don't want to show their face, right? Don't even want to change their face in the Zoom. So I just see the name on the screen, right? So I mean, you guys are probably too young, but in my days, one of the most popular cartoon is EVA. Anyone know EVA? No one knows. Maybe you guys are too. Oh yeah, that's good, right? And in EVA, right, there's always someone call something sound only, right? There's something they're talking. There's only the sounds. Or even though sound only thing is like, I mean, some people appear only with the sound. Some people appear with the face. Here I would feel the same because I can't see you and you can see me, right? So it's interrogated by the sound only people. So you guys are the superior existence to I'm only sound only. But anyway, so I hope, and then some history about me, right? And then I think I think I taught as a TA in CU in long time back, and then I go to study in US, and then after I come back, I was teaching in Singapore for 8 years, and now I come back to B school, Chinese U, and to teach again. And in the US, I taught this class for 2 years, and of course, in those days, Excel is not, even R is not that convenient. So at those time, I just taught statistics. But now we are so easy access to the software. So I hope that would be, you will learn software. This is one of important objective I mentioned later, that is to train you how to use software, Excel and R, and hopefully some Python. And then the next part is our TA. I think he is not here. but are you here, Austin? No, right? But the TA will be grading your homework, answering your questions. You'll be in close contact with him a lot of time. If you have some question, probably you want to reach him first. But of course, you can also contact me. But I think he will be more accessible than I do, because sometimes I also teach other application. He will be more free. But anyway, you can feel free to contact both of us. I think he should welcome you. And what is the course is about? Okay, you look at the course description, is very short. Okay, so basically you learn, just handle all the topics we're covering, right? We have 10 topics. If you read the course outline before, there are 10 topics in this class, right? We'll talk about descriptive statistics. This will be the topic of this class and the next class. Okay. This week we will talk about descriptive statistics. Probably you learn the mean, median, mode, variance, all kind of numbers that try to describe the data. That is called the descriptive statistics. And the second, third, and the fourth topic will be called probability. Okay, probability is trying to say, because the world is uncertain, right? It's like in business, they're making a decision, looking at the future, right? And how to describe uncertainty then will be at what we call probability, right? Just rolling a die, tossing a coin, right? Before you toss a die, toss a coin or roll a die, you don't know the outcome, right? We need to some way to describe what is more likely, what's less likely, how to model them is the ideal probability. Okay. And this first two part is usually what we call the descriptive statistics. And the second part is called inferential statistics. Is you collect the data, you try to make some judgment or make some prediction, make some estimation. Okay. The reason why you need to do it is because you do want to do sampling. Okay, because the thing you want to study is often very large. You can't study every single aspect of it, right? You can pick up something and try to test it. Right? Same at this class. When we give assessment, we are not going to try to give you assess every single aspect of the material we cover, right? We're going to pick up one thing and randomly pick up some of the materials in the class we cover and try to ask you how we understand those. And if you understand those questions adequately, then you got able to answer the question we put in the text in the quiz, right? So that is inference, right? We try to infer from what you do from exam or homework to infer how well you learn the class. Same idea here, right? And say, for example, now the election, right? We try to look at how people vote for Trump or Biden, right? And then we're not going to talk to 300 million eligible voters in US, right? What we're going to do is to usually you see the poll is going to ask for 1,000 people nationally, right? And how can you use 1,000 people to infer from 300 million, right? Is an issue. That is the idea of inference, right? And also we want to try to see whether the disease has been stopped, right? COVID-19, right? We are trying to do some sampling, right? We are going to collect some sample and see how things would look like. And here we have next two part is regression and Anova. And these two are basically trying to study how variables are related, okay? And one of the idea to give you is trying to see, you spent 4 years in the college, right? And already very exhausting, already time consuming and money consuming, right? And the question is, after down the road, go to job a few years, do you want to come back to do MBA, or any master, right? That's something you want to ask. And very clearly, you want to do it if the return is high enough, right? Then how can you know whether it's good enough or not enough? You collect the data. Look at how past other people have done it. Of course, you can not check every single one, but you collect some of the data and you try to relate education 1 more year or 2 more years. Is it going to help you earn more, right? You collect everyone's education, collect everyone's earning, you try to see how they're related, right? And that is ideal regression, right? ANOVA is similar, but instead of education in 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, but look at the category, right? And you want to see, oh, I want to do a master. Should I do a master of finance, master of accounting, or M.B.A, right? You want to see there's a difference between the 3 of them, right? So then ANOVA is the such concept. You want to see is income made by 3 of this master is going to be different or not, right? That is the idea of ANOVA. Okay. And then here, this is the idea ANOVA, and later we will try to apply all this concept into the business problem. That's the main idea. You can see application to the business is important. So you will see the assessment. This will reflect how we evaluate your grade. So you can say learning outcome. Okay, I'm not going to do it one by one. Okay, I want to highlight the 5th point. Okay, having a working knowledge on Excel, R, and Python. Okay, so that is something we're going to cover. Of course, don't worry if you don't have any knowledge. We will be starting from scratch. We assume 0 knowledge about that. If you don't know anything, later we give you a survey to ask to see how well we're doing. If everyone know everywhere, then we go to more advanced. If at least one of you don't know, then we will start from scratch. Okay, so because it's an introductory class, we do not have any prerequisite for programming, so we will just start from the basic. Okay, any question about the first page of the course outline? Question? Good. How about others? Okay, thanks. Hopefully you like it. Hopefully you feel fun. I mean, it's important to get fun, right? I think the old famous song in the 90s from Sam Hu, right? 許冠傑、許關節 is most important is fun. Okay, learning is very important to be fun. I like that song very much. But anyway, it's important to be fun. It's learning in a relatively boring class. I try to be fun, but it's hard, right? Something is very dry. You cannot make it that easily happy. But the syllabus is this is the 10 topics we cover in this class. Okay, this 10 main topics. You can find this is a very basic technique. So basically, all the things you can find in any introductory class. So there's nothing special about this class. And you may ask how my class different from other section. I think we will be somewhat different. Is we have Excel and R both. I think some class focus on Excel, some class focus on R. We'll do both. And there's no reason why you only focus on one, because you should know how to combine and convert each other. You should know how to use the tools. And hopefully we can cover Python if we have time. I cannot promise we cover Python because of the time, but we try to. And about assessment, I think assessment also, there's different sections, a different way to do it. I think my one is not too much different from others, but there's some difference. The main difference is the so-called the one single assessment, written assessment is, we don't have exam, we don't have midterm exam, we only have one single test, okay? And this one single test will be 40% weighted, and you try to comprehensively ask you everything in the class. The exact time will be announced because now we have we may resume to face-to-face, I don't know, next month or what, but let's see how things go. So I cannot tell you the timing and how it be arranged. We try to post books and notes. So some people would ask whether we need calculator for the exams or tests. The answer is you can use whatever. I think phone is also okay. I don't think that would be a big, as long as it's allowed it. Depends on the scenario, but we don't have too much for the test. We don't rely too much on the calculator. So you can, if the calculator, you can bring your own calculator from the high college exam, or if you don't, then we'll figure that out. I mean, probably it will not be an important constraint. Okay. And quiz and participation, do note that the text makeup will not be provided unless you have the prior approval from me. Okay. Quiz and participation is 10%. So in order to do participation, I find it easier now. It's not easy to participate, right, during this Zoom timing. So I just change it to quizzes, and quizzes will be something evaluated how you understand the concept cover. We'll use you reply. Depends on how well we do today. If not going well, then we'll do the blackboard version. The quiz will be just mainly based on participation. So if you do it, unless you make mistake in every question, usually you get almost full credit for that. Of course, if you get it all right, then you will be extra bonus, but most of you will get the similar marks, except if you're way exceptional. Otherwise, don't worry about that part. And we would only take the top 8 mark, but most of you will get similar marks because, as I said, we will, it's a participation style assessment. Okay. And homework, I think homework, with 6 homework, I want to give fewer homework, but the thing is statistics, you need to really actually work on it to know it. There's some part I cannot get away with. Hope you understand this part. We'll try to make the homework more fun, okay? Try to do some calculation, but we'll give you some freedom to explore things you like. But I hope that this will be happier homework. We don't want to try to make you do some repeating some calculation. There was some calculation, but we try to make that less repetitive. Last part, presentation and project, I think will be much more fun because it's going to apply what we learn. Okay, you will be required to collect data, do the analysis, and present it, and write a report. Okay, and you are required to use the software. Okay, and you need to show me the code, how you do it. Okay, because I want to assess how well you're doing, and you can be, how to divide the group we will talk about it after the agile period, because that would be more easier to handle. And tentatively is between 1 to 6. Okay, you may ask why allow 1, because there are always some people are worried about free riding, so I would occasionally allow 1 people in the group. And actually the group size doesn't really mean anything because the workload is proportional to the group size. Okay, so the page limit and the time to present everything in proportion to the group, right? Suppose you have one person, then you would type, say, for example, page limit is five pages. If you have two people, page limit 10 page limit, something like this, okay? We'll give more detail later when we know how many people actually at the end in this class, okay? In this section. This section is oversubscribed, okay? So if you don't like me or don't like this class, so feel free to drop, it's okay, because other people want to come, so it's fine. So I don't feel bad about you dropping. So it's okay after the break in 10:50, then you can just go. I mean, there's no bad feeling. You don't have to stay for the whole class. So if you still drop, I don't remember you. It's too many names here, so I cannot remember anyone. And one important part of this is the project and the presentation will be determined by me and the TA and also your classmates, okay? So this part, peer evaluation would be important, okay? You would not only need to impress me about your classmate, your grade will be somewhat combination of that, and then we see whether you've done a nice job. Okay, and then this will be the assessment. I think the standard thing across all the subjects, but at this point, any question? If you question, feel free to unmute your mic and you can talk, because I guess listening would be very boring and sometimes can be very sleepy. Anything you want to say? Any question? Any comment, suggestion? Please do so now, because we'll be unable to change it, right? Oh, presentation days. Oh, so you will be here. You will be last two class. I mean, you can look at the last page. Maybe go to the last page. Will be last two weeks. So we will do the test before we do the presentation. So why we do that? Because I want you to have time to focus on your presentation after the test. Otherwise, you always think about, should I prepare my class as well as prepare my presentation? That will be better. Do you answer a question, Yang Jun? Good. Any more question? Feel free to ask, because that would be a good time to ask. Because here, if you ask, I can still make changes. I can send me an email too, but after the add drop period, probably we cannot do anything changes. No? Let me think. Other section means A or A and H, right? I think within the A and H, I think is okay, but I need to announce it in the other class. I didn't announce it. I have to announce it. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Let me write that down, because I need to announce it. I think it's fine. But let's wait until the add drop period is over, because that would be more convenient. But A and H is a little bit easier because of the peer evaluation. Then you evaluate more. But is it okay? I mean, let me ask the class. Is it okay if you evaluate a little bit more about your peer? Is it okay? Huang Ho, if you have, I think it should be fine. You evaluate your own. I think that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I just think about logistics. I think it should be fine. You group that. It should be fine. I mean, it's okay. It should be okay. Should be okay. Yes. So if you combine, then you have to be if you combine, you have to make yourself available in both sections. Yeah, you have to be available by yourself by both sections because you evaluate by your peers. If you don't attend one lecture, do I need to? Sorry, there's other question is if you cannot attend one lecture to apply. No, we don't have to apply. If you're missing the class, I think it's fine. I hope you don't miss all the quizzes. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter. Or are you asking the presentation? I think it's fine as long as if the presentation part is if you are doing the cross section, I think it's okay. If you cannot attend, then you just record your part. That will pay your part there. If you have a presentation, it's fine. Just basically just your part will be you pre-recorded and screen that part, because if everyone present but your group will present your own, I think that could be, this logistic would be fine. I don't think that would be an issue. Just some logistical issue. It should be fine. This should not be an issue. In the worst case is you present your part, you make yourself presentation, you make yourself available for that particular time allocated, then just be okay. Just make sure that you're available on that part. Okay. If you do cross group between the section, just make sure that when you present, you're available on that particular section allocated for you. Is that okay? Is that clear? The cross group thing. Is that okay? I think it should be fine. I would allow you group yourself. If there's nothing left, then will be group. I mean, you form the grouping at the end of airdrop period, right? Because at the end, I'll ask you at the end of the airdrop period to how you form the group. I'll give other that, then I will tell you the detailed instruction. But at the moment, you can form group, of course. I will allow the market work, right? Because we are business, we just allow business school, right? We don't want to be social planner. I don't want to be social planner. So I just let you guys, the market works, and if it doesn't work, I'll intervene. I mean, of course, you can do it you can do one person group. You don't have to do more than, you don't have to group others. Is that clear, Yan Yan? Good. So don't worry about the grouping. You can do by yourself. As I said, everything is proportional. So there's no gain unless you have some synergy, right? Unless you work with others, there's some gain. There's no point of doing together, because I know why I allow one, because now it's a virus thing. If you don't want to meet, and sometimes it's very hard to form group. So you can do it by yourself. Of course, there's some benefit of division of labor, but if you find talking to others is difficult, then you don't have to. Unless you're a good friend in the other section, maybe you can join. Cross section have to be section A and H, right? You cannot combine with section with other instructor. That would be difficult to monitor because of a peer evaluation. Okay, so that's some constraint that we can do. Okay, so textbook. Is that okay? Any question about the projects? Any more question? Just very good question. You asked me the cross-section thing. So that I will try to give you more instruction later, probably next week or the week after airdrop period is over. I'll send out the instruction. But for the moment, I would allow you can form groups. Okay? Any question? No? Is that okay? Any more? Because before I didn't figure out there's a cross-section group formation. If any question, just let me know. I just try to accommodate your request as much as I possible. If you're okay, then say okay. Good, thanks. So textbook, probably now is hard, but this is our textbook, same across all the sections. So it's not my choice, the choice from previous years and have been used it. And I guess it have been there, so it must be some merit over there. So there's a textbook here. And this textbook, I tried to go to the bookstore. It's like $400. I don't know whether worth it or not, but I think other textbook will also, any introductory textbook also work. And since you used it in last year and previous year, you may consider secondhand textbook also would work. Because it's introductory textbook, this book is okay. I think so far I read this, I don't find it very confusing. I think it's okay because it's edition already, so it's kind of okay. And also they have tell how to do Excel. I think it's pretty clear, but other textbook would work. And I might assign, I haven't decided yet, but I may assign some of the question in the textbook. But in that case, I will do a copy. So whether you buy it or not is completely up to you. And if you want to save money, you may not need to buy it. But I hope you all at least have one introductory statistic book at your hand so that you can read it. Either physical or electronic. I hope have a book actually help a little bit from my perspective. Because when I was in college, I try to save money, so I didn't buy a lot of textbook. But turn out, I think that would be a little bit not very convenient. So if you have some spare budget, maybe consider have one introductory textbook, not necessarily this one, but somewhere. And also there's some free textbook available, and you can see the reference. There's one that is completely free. There's a lot of textbook is free, so you can just try to have one, and that would be useful. But of course, for our purpose, the slides will be sufficient. But if you want to learn more, then always try to read. And the recommended reading, actually, I don't have this book, so I don't know how well this book is, but every single section use this one, so I don't really know. So don't ask me about this book. I haven't read it. I don't know really it is, but they put it there. Okay. So about probability. So as we have introductory statistics, usually you know a lot of things that we are saying, oh, there's something we don't talk, we just give you this as a result. It's very like we teach, when you are in kindergarten, right? Or in the kindergarten or in the primary school, right? You ask your mom, your dad, where you come from, right? And usually your dad and mom would not start to teach you the real thing, right? You are saying you come from the stone, you pick up from the rubbish bin, so on and so forth, right? So trying to make that simple, right? Same idea here. There's some concept that we don't cover in detail, we don't prove it. We try to provide proof for most of the result, but there's some place we don't really prove it. But at least I will tell you how we arrive at this conclusion, but it's important sometimes to know. And there are a lot of things, there's a mysterious thing here and there. Why there's n-1, there's k+1, there's something very weird. If you feel weird, that's very normal. When I was, the first time I took statistics, there's so many weird things happening. And that's different from your high school. Usually there's no mystery here and there. But there's always mystery here and there in statistics. So if you want to know more, I recommend you take this book. This book is more advanced, but give you more idea. And sometimes you're still not satisfied, you can go one more step further, okay? But these two are just really reference, so only if you want to know more, okay? And for Excel, there are many textbooks. I particularly recommend for our class for this one, the dummy series. Dummy series is always good. For my personal experience, when I learn things, I always go for dummies, okay? A lot of time. So if you want to do it, you can try to read this one Excel. But as I said, we start from scratch, so don't really worry about that. From R and Python, I just give you some of the books that I feel relatively good. I think you can, might be a little bit not that easy to read, but this is completely free. Online book, you can click on the link, then it give you some idea on R with statistics. Okay. And for Python, yeah, particularly suggest this one. This one is really for the kids. I guess this one is a good one. Good introduction. I like this one. So this is the box. So I don't. You may not need buy any books, but just put it here in case you want to have reference to go for, because the lecture only cover part of the knowledge that you might need to do your work in the future. Okay, but for our class, the class slides will be sufficient. But nevertheless, you want to always want to come back, right? After you graduate, or after a few years, or down the road, you take next class after the semester break, probably forget a lot of stuff. Then you may refer to slides, but sometimes books will be helpful. So these are just for your future reference. For the moment, hopefully most of you will not need it. And feedback, as I said, now is Zoom class. Please feel free to make suggestion, appointment through the Zoom, or talk to me directly through the Zoom or other method, okay? At the end of term, you have evaluation, right? So, but usually that is too late. It's useful for your future, but every class afterward, please feel free to contact me. But we can do individual meeting, but here Zoom, we will do individual Zoom meeting. And this is of a class, so usually I stay after class for at least 15 to sometimes up to an hour, half an hour. So you can just feel free to ask me after the class. That would be the most important thing. In order to avoid you come back to do appointment. Actually, the easiest is to stay around. If you don't have appointment afterward, that would be easiest. Usually, if I don't have things to do. Usually, I would, if available, I would usually stay behind. If I'm not available, I'll let you know. But today, I can stay at least 15 minutes if you have question, and you can ask during the break. So, any question? Okay. If no, then with the course schedule. The course schedule, as you can see, we cover each topic almost like 2 weeks, except the topic 10, regression is more complicated. We have 3 days to cover. And at the end of each topic, we have a short quiz. Today, we try to use a U-reply system. If that works, we'll use E-reply. If that doesn't work well, we'll try to do Blackboard version. But let me know if you have issue. Let's see if today we have issue about the quiz. If the U doesn't work, then we will figure that out, how to handle this. And usually at the end of 2 topics, we'll give you 1 single homework. The homework will be few questions, some closed-end, some open-ended. Closed-end try to see whether you understand the topic, and open-end will be try to make the assignment more fun. Okay. Will be somewhat like a small project ideas. It's open-ended, try to make you collect some data or try to ask you some question that is more applied. Okay. As I said, there will be quiz on this week, okay? The day, although I put 26, but that would depends on availability of room by that time, right? Maybe that would be, we will resume face-to-face at that time, then we will book a room to do it. If that's not the case, then we will have another way to handle. And presentation will be the last two. We will make the schedule hour a bit later, depends on how things goes, okay? And the honesty thing, I think is standard. So you cannot plagiarize yourself, others, previous semester, everyone. If you plagiarize, then there will be an issue for your assignment and other things. So please do it yourself. You can discuss with others, but you need to submit your own version. Okay, that is a very standard thing. I don't want to repeat. I don't want this thing to happen in my class. Okay, because it would be troublesome for you and me, and then that would be not easy thing. Okay, so try to be honest. And I don't think our class will be super challenging. I mean, it can be challenging, but will not be introductory class. So it will not be something like you need to do a lot of work repeated enough that you need to be to do plagiarism and cheating. Okay, this is the course outline. So any question? Any question? So please let me know if you have any question. Otherwise, with a break of 15 minutes. So let me know what's the question. Any questions? Is that okay? Then we have a break. Let's resume 15 minutes later. So let's resume at 11:33, 34. Okay. Oh, sorry, not PM. Sorry. So we'll be resuming by that time. After the break, we will cover the slides. Okay. So in the meantime, the break, we have a U reply. You can try to do it. We will let you to do it because I want to let you know your classmates. So it's an ice-breaking exercise. So you will just be doing it during the break, but feel free to go to rest. We will be meeting after the break. I'm going to get some water. I will be back in a few minutes. I guess we should resume. So now please try to do this, give you a few minutes, try to do it because you do it, you know more about your classmates. And we go over this a little bit because this is the first sampling. So this is exactly what actually we do a survey, which is a good exercise. And know yourself, know how more. Please try to do it. You can either do the QR code or you can do it. Oh. So give you 2 more minutes and then we will go over things. Okay, I guess we should, although not everyone join it, next time when we do quizzes, you have to join it because that would be just want to make sure that you know the system. So of course it's not a quiz, but we'll see whether you want to use reply or black box version. And let's see. So the first question is not everyone, most of you joined. Some of you have not done this, but anyway. So how do you feel today? Well, most of you are happy, excited. Compared to the previous class, a lot of people are tired because it's early. This one is a little bit more better. You're still tired only after 1. And I don't see people sad or angry. Some people have starting semester a little bit blue because they feel one semester, the summer is over. Okay. And second one is pre-assigned. So someone explain what is pre-assigned. What do you mean by pre-assigned? Is it something that the faculty assign you this class, so you don't have choice? Sorry about that. I hope, although it's arranged marriage, so I still hope you enjoy it. No, it's not something that we cannot do. So this is a little bit different because the more earlier class, actually a lot of people are joining because of the friends that are joining. So they join. So they go together. They are going to the morning class together, late morning class together. So it's more fun, I guess. And this compulsory. Okay. And surprisingly, no one take this by mistake. So, and some people say, oh, just shopping around. It's okay. Just shop around. And if you like it, you'll stay. But do warn that if you are not in the waiting list, so probably you unlikely to get it because I think this class is oversubscribed. The previous one, I think, is undersubscribed. So I think it's the 60s, something here. Another section is like 50 something. So I guess there's still seats. If you want to join, you may consider the session A if you like me or like the syllabus I designed. But anyway, let's see the next question. So what statistics? Yes, a branch of math. Yeah, transforming data information. That's what we learn. Yeah, a bunch of number from which insight. Yes, that is exactly what it means. So many, yeah, mean median is something we learn, but but much more than that. So we have also variance, regression. There's a lot more. Yeah, processing framework. Yeah, exactly what we're doing. That is exactly very nice answer, right? That's what we want to do. Collect some data and make it more informative information and do analysis. Yes, very good. Yes. With large quantity of data, that is more like big data. But yes, exactly what it means. Yeah, data analysis. Yeah, collect data, number. Yeah, kind of science. Yes. Predict the future outcome. Yes, that is artificial intelligence. That's very good. um, yeah, processing data, analyze something. Yeah, exactly. It's data-driven study. Yes. Handling data, do some prediction. Yes. Someone come with Chinese. It's okay. I know Chinese. Yeah, I'm born in Hong Kong, so it's okay. In private, you can talk to me in Cantonese or in Mandarin because I've been in Singapore for 8 years. So talk to me other way. Sorry, I don't know Korean or Japanese. So unfortunately, I can talk to you in your native language if you are Korean or Japanese, but I can speak the few languages. Yes, a lot data. Yes. So everyone got it? Very good. How will you learn? So most of you have no basic concepts. So although some of you say mean, median, mode, but that's we try to cover this class. So some idea how we're doing. So given this class, I will start from scratch like the other section. Okay, so I would be assuming that you have learned nothing. So I start from the very beginning. So if you think I still too fast, let me know. Or I'm too slow, so let me know because I've been teaching fourth year and master class for the last 8 years. So I don't know how fast I should go. But if you're too fast, let me know. Stop me. That would be very helpful. Okay, I appreciate if you tell me how fast and how quick. I like math. Okay, this is good. This class there are more people liking math. There will be some math here. The mean will define what the mean is, but just add them all up and then divide it by the total. And so there's some math will be good here because we are a little bit quantitative class. But don't worry, we don't use a lot of math. Just some arithmetic algebra style stuff. Just high school algebra. It would be good if you know some integration. Because in some class we will try to do the proof based on integration, but it's not necessary for this class. Just the proof. But again, this is not the proof class, so don't worry about that. We are not trying to do the proof in integration. Computer programming. Oh, I'm surprised. No people like programming, but anyone like to pay with the smartphone? Anyone hates smartphone? Or hate apps? No, I guess no. If no, then it should be fine because we will not do real programming. We will just use some packages. That's what most people would do. Just like using app. Okay, it's like for this purpose, I use this app. For other purpose, I use other app. So basically, we just learn how to use those apps. Does it make sense? Although we use Excel, R on Python. Okay, so don't worry about that. I will start from very beginning. So you know some Excel, but okay, most of you didn't know. So I would be starting from the very basic. Okay. So from assuming you know nothing about programming in Excel. So some people know VBA, but most people say no. Okay, it's fine. We don't need VBA in this class, but it's good you know, and I suggest you learn it for business application. That would be very useful thing. The last question will be the programming. Some people learn C, that's good. R and Python, so that would be maybe this class would be too easy for you for the programming part. Well, some people know C++, that's good. Yeah, if you learn programming, this class would be nothing, the programming technique we're using. But as I said, you don't require to do any complicated programming, just simple calculation. So we're using something very simple knowledge. So we don't even write, maybe at most a loop, probably even not. But anyway, don't worry about that. When we cover, you will know. So, but we assume zero knowledge. So start from the very beginning. Okay. So any question before we start? No? So that's good. I hope through this exercise, you know more about your classmate and I know more about you. And then you can form groups and think. That is very informative for me. Thank you. So I know how fast we should cover the class. So let me go to slides. So we'll get started with the slides. So we'll start our class, lecture 1. So today we don't cover that much. Probably we'll cover the central tendency up to. Okay. So the next class, we will spend 2 classes for this set of slides. So, so first things first, descriptive statistics, we have to define what it is, right? So go to statistics. I think most of you know statistics already from the U reply, right? Basically just try to use data, right? To convert data into information. Either you make some judgment or you don't make judgment. If you don't make judgment, then it's called descriptive statistic. Only to describe, as the name suggests, you do describe it. Just like get a clear picture of the data. Either you use numerical presentation, mean, median, mode, as some of you have known, or visual representation, bar chart, pie chart, line chart, histogram, all those sort of things belong to the umbrella of descriptive statistics. And we have another branch, which is called Infernal Statistics, which is more than descriptive, is trying to make some judgment, say for making prediction, right? What we do is say at the very beginning, open example, we are saying the poll of the US voters, trying to judge, try to guess the probability that Trump get reelected or Biden get elected, right? That is using the data, trying to make some estimation or prediction, right? Or we want to know whether we can open up the society after the virus. We need to rely on data, right? Maybe look at the community, how many infections, disease, and then we try to make judgment, right? Or as many of you are coming from accounting, right? I look at the student list, right? Then as the auditing process, right? Everyone know audit, right? Audit is trying to, the company make accounting statements, and auditor is trying to see if the accounting statement is made according to the principles, right? So, or regulation, right? Audit is trying to check, right? But you cannot check every single object, right? So you try to do sampling, right? Suppose you say, the company said, I have X amount of inventory, right? Or I have do the credit sale for X amount, right? Then you need to go and check, but you cannot check every single inventory or every single sales, but you will pick up some of them. How to pick up is the idea of sampling. Okay, and also at the beginning we said about whether you want to further study in MBA or other things, right, do a master program, then it's also require you to study the relationship between education and income, right? That would also the influence. Okay. And so probably I didn't mention, but I should mention in the textbook, okay? The first 2 chapters, I'm not going to cover it. You would have to study on your own because of the time constraint. So chapter 1 and chapter 2 in the textbook are about collecting data or drawing a pie chart histogram. I guess you learn it from your high school, or you can learn it comfortably by yourself. I'm not covering the class, it's not saying that it's not important. Actually, they're very practical technique they'll be using in your project. But I think this part can be self-learned. So that's why I would leave it for you when you do your projects, you read yourself on those, okay? I just not mention the main point in this coming few slides. So the first thing is the classification of data. So data can be classified in many ways, and the most easier way to classify it by 2 ways. One is categorical data, another one is numerical data. So what's a categorical? Categorical means that it's a category, okay? It doesn't have number, actually just have no meaning, okay? Say nominal data, gender or race, okay? Has no particular number meaning. You may assign number to it, there's no meaning, okay? Or geographical area. You live in Hong Kong Island, Kowloon Peninsula, or New Territories, okay? You can record the data by 1, 2, 3. Or the zip code, right? But in Hong Kong, there's no zip code, but you live other places. Zip code is more common in the other area. Okay, so but they have no particular meaning. And the other one is ordinal data, right? You remember we do agree, disagree, and neutral, agree, and strongly agree, right? We give number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? But the number is assigned arbitrarily and randomly. There's no reason why disagree is 1, okay? Disagree can be -1, right? And there's no reason why each single step is 1, right? Why disagree? I would say disagree and strongly disagree, the gap should be 2 instead of 1, because strongly disagree, right? I think it's negative more. But so the number you assign has no meaning, okay? Actually, it's the average. I said the average of that Likert scale 1 to 5 actually is not very meaningful, okay? But sometimes a number, right? Just like your GPA, okay? Your GPA is conversion from A, B, C, D, and you calculate the ordinal ranking, right? And then you convert to number. And the number is actually not very meaningful, but anyway, everyone use it and that's it. But I would feel is why you would assign 4 to A minus to 3.7. It just everyone use it. But why is the case? Why 3.7, not 3.75? There's no particular meaning, but just some way to do things. But I don't see, or actually there's no meaning for that, but just use it. And why I mentioned this, because when you talk about ranking, you can talk about average, median is maybe better, median and more better, but average or standard deviation, all those kind of things actually is not that meaningful. Another type of categorization is called numerical data, okay? And in that case, adding, subtracting, multiplication would meaningful, right? For example, the discrete data count data. How many people coming to the coffee shop today, okay? And that is a number you can add and subtract, right? Multiplication is meaningful, right? Here, discrete means that for every 2 possible observations, there is no something in the middle ground, right? Number of people, 3 and 4, or 5 or 6 or 10, okay? They're valid entry, okay? But there's 3 and 4 is a valid entry, but 3.5 is not the valid entry. Okay, if it's not anything in the middle is not valid, then usually it will classify it discrete. And if something in the middle is valid, then it's continuous. Like temperature is a continuous, and stock price is usually a continuous. Okay, continuous. The distinction between the two is more like whether the intermediate value is possible. Okay, and it's more like mathematical distinction. So you learn mathematics, you will know that continuous and discrete are very different. Okay, that's why you learn calculus. Right, calculus is usually study a continuous function. At least for some sector, it's continuous, and discrete is another technique, right? So that you learn mathematics that require you to different way to handle a thing. So that's why you require different tools. So that's why in statistics we learn different tools. But the distinction is more like the tools distinction, but not really from it. Usually data can be distinction, but sometimes because of the tool we study is different. But anyway, you will know more later. And their way to do visual representation, I'm not going to detail, but discrete and categorical, you can do bar chart and pie chart, right? I hope you know what is bar chart and pie chart, right? So this is a bar chart, right? Probably a backhand drawing, but the Mid-Autumn Festival is closed. There's a mooncake, right? So cut, right? There's a bar chart. So there's a pie chart, right? And a bar chart is something like this, right? You see it from your from our review reply, right? This bar chart, right? And bar chart histogram are very similar, right? Just one discrete, one is continuous. And polygon is just to collect the dot here, right? Become polygon without seeing the bar. And scatter plot, right? Probably you will see something like this, right? But sometimes you see GDP, right? And maybe there's different country, there's unemployment, if you learn microeconomics, right? Something like that. And line chart is something you see time series, right? This is time, right? This is Hansen index. This is something like this. Okay? I hope that's okay. Can you see my drawing? Although I'm not a good artist, very terrible one, but I hope you can see. You can see? Okay, good enough. I think my son would draw a better picture. My son is better, and my daughter are also better. But anyway, I have a very terrible drawing. But anyway, so anyway, we don't do a lot of art, luckily. So what we're trying to do in this set of slides, this class and next class, we'll do central tendency. I think for this class, we'll just finish this one. For the next class, we'll do dispersion and the shape, okay? And what is central tendency, okay? That is, if we want to use a single number to represent data, that is what you will give, okay? So suppose you have income data, okay? How much people earn, okay? This variable, some observation. So you want to tell one number to tell me what it is, right? The best thing is average, right? Average is a little bit loose term. Average usually can mean, sometimes can mean mean, can mean median, or mode is a very loose term. But in statistics, average usually mean arithmetic average, which usually mean mean, okay? But there can be more things. But we'll talk about mean, median, mode, and you will see mean and median are most useful. And the mode will be less useful, but mode will sometimes be convenient, and especially when you cannot add, right? It's not meaningful to add, right? Suppose, especially categorical data, right? Say, suppose the data about where do you live in Hong Kong Island, Kowloon Peninsula, and also New Territory, right? I mean, there's no point to add them. You assign number 1 to Hong Kong, number 2 to New Territory, 0 for Kowloon Peninsula. There's no point of asking the mean, right? And then in that case, mode or median would make sense, right? Because you can see median also doesn't make sense. Mode would be most sensible. Okay, so you can see when you use what, but at the most study, you would often see median and mode are listed at the same time. Okay, so you will see both of them are listed. You just don't see one, right? So that is, you usually would try to list a lot of parameter, a lot of measurement, just not be single. Same as everything in this class, right? There's several ways to measure the same thing, but the cost and benefit of using one of them, then you have to make your judgment to present what, and sometimes you present all, but you would sometimes something better than other. Okay, there's many tools, so there's no single best tool that would serve all the purpose. But I'm not going to repeat the same statement, but this will be the statement that you may have in the future, right? Because say estimation, how to estimate, there are many methods, right? How to model this, there are many methods. You have to make your judgment what's the best. Same when you do the projects, the assignment. When it's open-ended, you have to make your judgment, okay? Based on the measurement. And there are many ways to measure. And sometimes they're conflicting. You have to decide which one tell you what, right? Suppose the income, maybe the mean income goes up, okay? The median goes down, okay? Then you have to tell me how you conclude, okay? You have to make some judgment over there. But anyway, let's go into the definition. So central tendency again is one number to represent the data, okay? The formula are very straightforward, but we will be slow because we assume have no knowledge, absolute no knowledge about statistics, okay? Bear with me. So there's some notation here, okay? So here, let me write because I think that would be good to write. Observation will be denoted by X, okay? The first observation X1, second observation X2, third observation X3, okay? And then up to Xn, okay? We have n observations, okay? N observations. And what's the mean? It just add them up is X1 plus X2 plus dot up to Xn. So that actually the notation here, summation, is same as this one. Okay, so this is the meaning. Okay, and it's a fraction. The numerator is add them all up. Okay, and divided by n. Okay, so here by definition already, you can add observation. Okay, so this have to be numerics, right? If x is how much you like apple, then you can add, unless you assign the number. Okay, you only add numbers, right? You cannot add apple plus orange. So that is the idea. Add them all up, divided by n, okay? So it's very simple, okay? So let's see, is that okay? Everyone know the notation? And here we call x bar, okay? It's called, how do you pronounce this? It's called x bar. Okay? Any question for mean? Is that clear? Because we assume, okay, good. So I clear the drawing. So here we have example, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Add up. This is 5. Okay, and this is also 5. So 3 times 5, 50. 50 over 3 is 3. Okay, and again, this is 5. This is 5. This is 10, 50, 60. 60 divided by 5 is 12. Okay. Why this example? You can see I added 0 at the end. The mean jump a lot, right? The mean jump a lot, and particularly you can see the 12, right? It's completely unrelated to 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It's neither is even though within the first 4 number. So it's not really representative, right? The mean actually is a very bad measure for the central tendency, right? It's not the single number that represented in the whole data, right? This 3 is good, right? 3 is exactly in the middle, right? It's within this range, and is half of them is less than that, half of them is more than that, is roughly is a good representation. So that's why you can see this mean is affected by outlier. Okay, this usually we call outlier. Okay, outlier is something like not really there, right? Probably you learn from the high school about the mean is like the old joke is like, oh, our income with the rich people, Bill Gates or Lee Ka-shing, right? It's going to be a lot, right? Because the average of that is going to be a lot, right? So that's why when you talk about income, usually we don't talk about the mean, right? We talk about median, which we will talk soon. But mean is a poor measure if you have a lot of outliers, okay? In that case, we will rely on mean. Or sometimes we truncate the data. We don't talk, but usually, for example, we take out the outlier, just cross it out, right? And just calculate the average of this data, right? Which is 2.5, right? It's better representation, okay? But we don't talk about the truncation here. Sometimes we just don't use all the data. It's better than using all the data, right? That is something we want to mention to you. And in the project, you have to figure out this out, right? Because when you collect data, if it's outlier, then you probably need to take it out, right? Okay. Any question? If no, then we go to the next slide. Okay. So the average we have is simple average, which saying that you add everything up, right, and divide by n, right? Every observation at the same weight. Okay. But very often that's not the best. Okay. The weighted average is you have the weighting called WI. Okay. So which is x1, x2 up to xn. But you also each observation have weights. Okay. Weights are number. Okay. Number can be any positive number. There's no restriction. Sometimes the restriction is between 0 and 1, up to 1, but you don't have this restriction. Any number, any positive number will be fine. Okay. And why with FA sometimes is good? Okay. The standard thing you learn with the average is from the GPA, right? GPA is a grade point average. It's average, right? And it's average based on the course, right? And you know, in some courses it's more important than others, right? For example, in here, I think physical education carry 1 point. I don't know whether you still have PE. Do you still have PE class? Do you have PE class? No, no more. There's no more because in something yes, but I think there's a first year you have to take two physical class from your college. Cut it out. Okay, that's fine. And there's some general education. And for our class, right, it's a 4-credit class, and some other class are 3 credit, right? 4-credit class is more important, right? So that's why if you get an A here, value more than an A in a 3-credit class. Why? Because the weighting, right? So the credit is 4 here, right? And it's 3 here, right? For other class, right? For our class, you get an A, which correspond to 4, right? So for this, we have 16, but you get an A in another class, it's only value 12, right? So then you want to work hard more for our class, right? If you want to spend more time to be a wise decision. So average price like CPI, right? Or GDP or those kind of things actually would, or stock index, okay? Moving average, recent price can be more weights, right? If you look at the moving average, usually you will see recent price can be more weight, or CPI, you would be different weighting for different category, right? Food is different, housing is different, and entertainment is different, right? So, and also investment portfolio, okay? Depends on how is the weighted average for each investment, right? Suppose you invest in stock A and stock B, right? If you put 90% in stock A and 10% on stock B, right? Then it will be average return of portfolio would be the weight times the return, right? It will be weight, 90%, 10% times the return of each stock A and B, right? So that is usually you do. And also Hansen index, right? Hansen index actually is an average of the prices of 50 largest stock, right? And even the index, even the stock in index, they are not averaged in the simple way, right? If weighted by capitalization, right? Market cap is how big is the company, right? So the bigger the company is, it carries more weight. Is that okay? Is it okay? It's a weighted average. Okay. And the next thing I want to talk about is geometric mean. So geometric mean will be very often when we talk about finance application, right? And let me give you an example why geometric average, right? And it's very important when we talk about investment, right? Suppose you consider 2 options or 2 portfolio, or so A and B, okay? So your 2-year investment. First year, year 1, should be year 1, year 2, okay? Should be year 1 and year 2. So year 1 and year 2, okay? So suppose this give you, first year give you very good investment, 90%. Second year give you 10%, okay? And B is more stable, give you 50% and 50%, okay? And suppose you have this thing, okay? So, and then the question is, you want to invest in A or invest in B, okay? Which one you want? Tell me your answer. So you can type on your chat. Yes, B. Why? Because A, you have seen the average return is also 50, right? The average return 50, right? 90 plus 10 divided by 2, right? But the geometric mean, this is higher, right? You can easily see this geometric mean is higher. So that's why when you do investment, you would do B instead of A. Okay, so that's why geometric mean has used. And if you try to read the fund description, fund fact sheet, always would give you both simple and arithmetic average. Okay. The next, harmonic mean. Harmonic mean is not very often used in business. It's more often used in physics and engineering. So I think very often you learn in primary school also is the average speed, right? A to B, right? And say you spend the speed of A to B is, when you go from A to B is 50 km per hour, and you B to A is 30 km per hour, right? And then what is average speed? Then will be coming from the harmonic mean, right? That's something usually you do, right? And anyway, but for our purpose, you can forget this because business applications usually don't do this. Usually it's geometric mean and the arithmetic mean. Is that okay? So let me I overrun a little bit. Give me 5 more minutes. Let me finish the median and the mode. Really quick. Okay, is that okay? So let me finish the median and the mean because they are very simple. So so the notation is a little bit tricky, but I just want to do it because that would be very useful notation. So this notation is called floor notation. Floor means 3.5. 3.5 will give you 3, okay? 4.9 will also give you 4. Just get the integer part. 5.1 will give you 5, okay? And this is called the ceiling. I think ceiling. And 3.5 will give you 4. Just run up, basically. 5.1 will give you 5. Also give you 6. Okay. So here it means if n is odd, right? It's middle rounded. Suppose you have 3 data, 1, 2, and 3. The middle one is clearly 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. The second one, right? Suppose you have 5 data, right? The middle one is clearly this one, right? Is 5 plus 1 divided by 2 is the third one, okay? But if you have even, right? Okay, because odd, these two are the same number, right? Plus 1 over 2 will be the same thing. But you have even, right? Suppose you have 1, 2, 3, 4. The middle is here, right? But there's nothing in the middle. So what you do is average of the second and the third, right? So that will be n over 2, which is this guy, and n over 2 plus 1, which is this guy, okay? So the average of these two. So that's why when you combine, you can write this formula, okay? This is the formula for the middle one, okay? This looks terribly complicated, but I just make it to make you comfortable with this kind of notation, okay? But let's see the example. But the example will be very clear. So we have 1, 2, 3, okay? The middle one will be 2, right? Because 1 before, 1 after, okay? And we have 4 data, middle will be here, 2 before, 2 after. So it's even. Actually, you take the average of these two. 2 and 3 is average is 2.5. And the median of this, okay, will be again the same, okay? But you can see from 4 to 40, actually have no effects, right? That means that the median is not affected by outliers. The outliers is not going to change. So that's a good thing about the median. Outlier has no effect on this, the same thing. Okay, so that's why average income is not good because of outlier. But median income is a fair measure of that. Okay, so when you expect outlier, use median. When the data is not it's rather symmetric. Mean is easier because mean you can easily calculate. But now mean and median don't really worry. Using software package that is easy to calculate. So you can list both. Okay. Is there any question? Okay. Then if no, then we go to the last one, then we're done. Okay. We're last one, mode. Okay. Mode is very simple. Mode is just most frequent value and can be more than one. So from the frequency table, which means if X can be different value, can be 1, 2, 3, 4, and F the frequency, maybe how many times you do, right? You have 3, maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 15. That is called the frequency table here. Okay. Okay. Sometimes you don't do this, you have that, right? When you learn from the primary school or counting, right? When you have this, you have this, right? This, right? You have this. Or sometimes when you are, this will be same as this one, right? Sometimes you can do that. Okay. But this is counting. Okay. And in this particular case, the mode will be 4 because 4 appear 15 times, right? It's the most frequent one. So that is the mode. Okay. The high, look at the frequency, the biggest will be the one. Okay. If there are more than one, it's fine. Okay. Suppose this is 15, then the mode will be 2 again. Okay. Will be 2 and 4. Okay. So let's see an example, and then this class is over. Okay. So example 1, 2, 3, 4. The mode will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Some of the package, there's a most difficult part here. Some of the package will say only appear once, then will be no mode. Okay. But to make things simple, we just said 1, 2, 3, 4 still have a mode of all numbers. So this is to make things easier. Okay. But I think the textbook will say there's no mode, but some textbooks say there's a mode. So we just take it the easiest, let it, everything is the mode, still fine. So it's 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. 2 appear twice, 3 appear twice, right? So if you really want to do it, actually you have to write the frequency table, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4 is the X value, right? The frequency will be 1, 2, 2, 1. So these two are the mode, okay? And here we have X is 1, 2, 3, 4. Frequency will be 1, 3, 2, 1. So 2 is the mode, okay? So that's in our class. So we cover mean, which is sum of them divided by number of them. Median, the middle guy. Mode, the most frequent guy. So these three are the most common one. Okay, so next class we will talk about dispersion and shape. But today we go home with ways to summarize data. I guess most of you have learned it, but we just, I think a good review. Next class we will be doing more. Okay, thank you. I will see you next class. Bye-bye. So I'll stay around to answer any question you might have. Enjoy your lunch. If you have a question, please feel free to stay behind. I'm answering any question you might have.
Professor Cole 啊，我想問咧，
好嘅，你講。
因為有啲 formula 其實我唔係好聽得明咯，即係上邊例如係嗰個technical other averages 或者係嗰個 geometric mean 嗰個 formula，可唔可以解釋下
？OK，geometric 呢個 geometric 呢個簡單啫，就係咁樣睇嘅。咁咧每一個觀察咧 X 啦，譬如話，譬如 GPA 咁啦，譬如一科 GPA 你係 A 嘅，咁攞4分啦，係嘛？ 譬如呢科你攞4分嘅，咁我哋呢科係4個 credit 乘翻4咯。咁如果你第二科嘢攞啲減嘅，咁咪3.7啦。咁你咪乘翻3咯。咁你咪嗰條數。
其實我即係我其實識即係at the end of the day 即係我識即係 gen 個 result 出嚟，但係即係就係呢個 formula 我有啲暈暈地。
呢個揾你就係咁 ，W1 乘以 X1，W2 乘以 X2 入邊咯。跟住再加 Wn 乘以 Xn， 咁咪上嗰嚿嘢。summation 即係加嘅意思嘛。咁下邊就加翻 W1 加到 Wn。你明呢個 notation 係嘛？
唔係好，之前有學過，但係唔係好記得啦已經。
呢個意思即係話咧，即係咁不斷咁加 summation 即係加，即係不斷咁加好。加到咩咧 ？I 從1去到 n， 即係第一個咧就係第一個加佢嘅咩？第一個係咩 ？W1，OK，、okay? 然後就 W2。
我呢個 OK， 但係落邊嗰個做 metric 嘅。
做 metric。等等啊，等我 clear 咗呢個先。Geometric 咧都係一樣嘅啫。Geometric 係 take a square root 咁咯。Geometric 就係咁啦。呢個咪就係 take a square root n 啫，即係譬如話你3個嘅話，就係譬如話 x1 係2 ，x2 係3 ，x3 係4，咪2乘3乘4啦，就係呢個下邊啦。咁你 take a square root of 1/3咯。
好。
咁計數機嘅呢個係。
好，我消化下。好。
即係咁啫，如果你係咁睇得。
OK， 唔該晒。
仲有冇問 O 唔
OK。
呢個如果撳計數機嘅冇特別。
是。
你知道呢個 take square root of 3係咩意思啊？
我知，數底比較差。唔該晒。
quiz 嘅話係會教晒先。about the quiz. So the quiz will be done after we finish everything in topic 1. Then we'll give you the after adjust after job. What do you mean by adjust after job? I don't really get. Hello, Pohim。
係你好，我用廣東話問得唔得？
好啊，冇問題。
因為咧，我見到個 course outline 嗰度咧，即係譬如今日9月8號咁樣咧，寫住 quiz one 係咪即係唔係呢一堂發生嘅？即係譬如
唔係，即係嗰個教晒之後就會有一個 quiz。quiz 就係問翻你上堂啲嘢大概啫，即係你參加就有分㗎啦，基本上係。
OK， 好
即係話大概參加就基本有分。即係如果你重答啱晒，可能啲獎勵，但係應該大家都冇分別，除咗你係即係好 exceptional。
OK 啊，試。好，唔該晒。
OK，just 係咩意思啊？你話？
唔係，即係我以為係嗰啲時間未定，跟住所以
冇，即係大概教晒咪俾你做一做啫。如果你 add job 之後，咪同我講翻，我可以 adjust 翻。如果你係之後嚟嘅，咁我可以睇下咩辦法可以幫你補翻。如果唔係正常，我都可以。
好，唔該晒。
OK，好，星期4見。